killed me yet. WW7. Hello, haters. Still breathing. Much love to all the purebloods out there. And a thank you to everyone out there that shares information, shares the stream, shows love, and fights the good fight. Thank you, Deanne, for the feedback. PLC, good to see everybody. E-Fits. Again, I want to thank everybody that shares the stream. It's appreciated to the fullest. Getting 5x5s, coming back. Everything looking good. Much love, Gabriel. Good to see you, FJB. Kathy. All my KY cats. Raymond. Hoppets in the house. Saw the ball. Jim. Seen Lowrider out there creeping earlier. Much love, my brother. Much love to everybody. Hope everyone's doing good. Susie Q in the house. Really, hope the whole crew is doing well. If there is a lot of background noise at some point throughout the stream, it's going to be storming and all that stuff, heavy rain. So just a heads up if anything happens in terms of that, or who knows. Just saying. Strong storms rolling through the area. I'll take them though. Sick of the heat. Ready for some decent weather. And yeah, need that rain, man. It's been quite a bit of a drought through a lot of different areas. They'll call for rain. It may rain a little bit, but not a lot ends up falling. But tonight, it's been coming down. We'll take that. We'll start off. I'm going to jump up to space and start off there with some space weather, as I normally do. And here we have a possible Earth-directed explosion. This wasn't a CME, so to speak. Well, sometimes you have these filaments that erupt and let off all this energy out into the atmosphere. And sometimes we get hit with those as well. I want to show this clip here real quick. This is what it's supposed to look like from our cameras out in space, out in subspace, ISS, any of those things. And when they start feeding you all this footage of complete blackness behind everything, something's wrong. Because in these clips, not only should you see the stars as well, but you should also see the atmospheric horizon. I'm going to hit play here. Look at that comet. Look at that comet. This thing is going to become visible, and to me, it's almost like a harbinger. You've got the prophecy of the Kachinas and everything else, but this thing popping up out of nowhere in this window of time, I feel like it is one of those signs that, hey, something's about to pop off. Plus, if you missed it, we've got the secondary moon that is coming into play, which is also very interesting when it comes to these space events. So we're going to have this daytime or negative magnitude comet that may be dusk or dawn. I'm not sure about the conditions yet, but you may be able to see it better then. But it's emerging from out behind the sun. So as the days go by and it gets further away from the sun, the chances where you can catch it right at the ecliptic are better. Negative magnitude means that you can see this thing in broad daylight. So this is going to be a very bright comet, so to speak. They're saying the forward rays out there are going to brighten this thing. And yeah, this mini moon, I think, is almost just as interesting, for sure, because it's coming in and going to be hanging out for quite some time, almost a month, and it's going to leave around Thanksgiving. It's kind of interesting. We've reported on a lot of objects, comets, asteroids, things of that nature coming in, and we've seen some strange stuff, but this one is literally going to lock in to our gravitational force, so to speak, and it's going to travel in this horseshoe type shape around the planet and then take off on Thanksgiving. I think that is very interesting. I'd be watching both these if I had a telescope out there, and could lock onto these objects. Just be careful when trying to observe the comet, especially anywhere near the sun. You do not want to go looking through a telescope or binoculars or anything toward that sun without the proper stuff. That is for sure. But yeah. Wanted to point that out because in the coming month, this thing's going to be visible. It's going to look a lot like this. This one right here. So yeah, you guys get any images, let me know, WW7@yahoo.com. All right. A heads up from my folks down in the Gulf of Mexico. Anyone in Alabama, Florida, especially here, the Panhandle. They're talking about a direct hit coming from this hurricane, Helene. Here they're expecting it to form and to rapidly intensify over the Gulf. And you can see here, we've got this by 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's going to be approaching, breaking through the edge of the islands and in Texas right here. By Wednesday, it's going to enter the Gulf. Thursday, it's going to really fire up, and they're saying Thursday around 2 p.m. They're expecting landfall from this. This is going to be a major and dangerous hurricane, as they're putting it, because of the way that it's setting up and coming in. So it's going to be a very dangerous hurricane. The models are very tightly clustered in the Florida Big Bend area for landfall Thursday afternoon. This is going to be a catastrophic event. Widespread structural damage and power outages across multiple states, and extreme storm surges here from 10 to 20 feet along that coastline. So there's the noodles running up, every single one of them taking it right up into the same region. And it may go right up the border there of Alabama and Georgia, before it looks like it's going to hook out one way or another. It looks like it's going to hook left, actually, per all the models. But just have a plan. You don't want to get caught slipping by one of these hurricanes. Think, oh, it ain't going to be nothing. Category 3, coming in kind of slow, can dump a ton of rain. It can cause a lot of problems. And I guarantee you, it's going to. There's going to be power outages. Coastline's going to get chewed up. I've gone down to Florida and chased a couple hurricanes myself. I've seen the devastation. I know what they can do. And really, these hurricanes are the number one reason why I wouldn't own my main home ever in Florida, ever. Just because of this. Because of having to have to back up and run out of there at any given moment, because you just never know this time of year what Mother Nature's going to throw your way. I'd have a secondary spot down here if I could ever afford it or something like that. But yeah, just the odds too great. I've seen so much destruction in this region from hurricanes. I'm telling you, maybe if you've never dealt with one, never seen the destruction, you don't care. But hey, devastating. And when we keep having issues like this in this country, where you're just tacking on billion dollar tickets to keep adding on to our debt, it's not good. But it's been kind of quiet when they said this is going to be a really active hurricane season. So I will say they got another one coming in behind this. They're expecting it to clip Mexico, and it's, I believe, going to be named John. So I'll update as we get closer. Again, if you're in the track of this, I'd stay on top of it. All right. Gonna jump into some economic news here real quick. I always bring up coal because it's a natural resource that I feel God's given this country and a lot of other people out there, especially if you own any land. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you very much. Much love. Appreciate it to the fullest. Turn it down here. And natural gas, coal, any of these things in terms of survival, they're key. Top of the list. If you want to break away from this government, what are you going to do? You want to get you some property, some land. The land, first and foremost, because you have to have somewhere safe to go, somewhere that they can't kick you out of. If you're renting off of someone, it's one of the first things that can happen that can kick you out. You need a safe haven. And on that land, it would be nice to have things like water, what they call a blue line, which is a major creek or waterway that runs like year-round through your property. If not, at least be able to have some good wells or some way to tap into some water on the property. Fishing 247, thank you. If you've got natural gas, it's a major plus. I'm telling you, you could run almost everything, if not your whole house. You could run everything off natural gas if you had a supply on your property. You just imagine that. That's almost like using the sun and going solar. You can hook up a gasifier. The gasifier will run a generator, and it'll fuel it like gas by burning coal, by burning wood, all these combustibles that you can find out in nature. It's amazing. Of course, the government doesn't want you to know all these things, but it's out there. You can buy the kits and even buy the gasifiers out there. I look to try to put one together here this next year, just to show you, because it's going to be that important. I've already moved into mad water catchment. I'm completely off the grid at this point. Not connected to a smart meter or any of this other crap. And going down this path, one of the goals is to be able to utilize whatever God gives you, the sun, the coal, the natural gas. But our government doesn't like that. Government doesn't like you being independent. They don't like you having a way to fight back. And if you've got coal on your property or in your state, chances are the federal government has already waged war with your state. Matter of fact, I know they have, because they've done it to the entire country. If your state is smart, they'll start fighting back, and they won't care what the federal government says. They'll abide by their own rules, and that's what my state's doing. And thank you, Colleen, for the coffees. Much appreciated. You know, my state sees that coal is critical, and I know other states see this the same way. Natural gas, coal, all these things are fundamental. Wood, if you've got trees on your property, you can heat yourself throughout the winter. You can survive if you've got these things. Especially if the lights go out, the economy crashes, and this whole thing goes into a tailspin. By design, of course. I can't stress enough how key these things are. I thank God that out here in the country where I'm at, just walking around, you kick something black on the ground, chances are it's coal. I mean, it's littered all around through here. When you go down these back roads into the country and all this, you'll see where they have to cut through mountains to run the roads. Just cutting through the mountains, there's exposed seams all over the place. You can see it. And that's key to me. I mean, I'm thankful for that here. So yeah, the running water, coal, natural gas, huge. And the consumption is not going to stop. If you've got more than you can handle and you need to sell it, you should be able to sell it. I think under the right guidelines, if you have the right leadership, this will open back up. And I think somewhere along the lines, there's going to be a technological breakthrough. Just remember me saying this. There's going to be a clean way to burn coal. A cleaner way. The more efficient way to do it. And when this is put out there in mass, it's going to be a game changer. And they can no longer attack it once that happens. And I don't see them saying nothing to China. I don't see them going up to China and saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, they're not. China is consuming 56% of the world's coal. More than half of the coal on the entire planet, China is consuming. And they care not about your carbon crap, your climate agendas, none of it. And I don't see Klaus Schwab and all them threatening them or anything like that. No. They ain't saying a word to them directly. I'm just here telling you, China consuming that much and burning up, is if they never change nothing, then it doesn't matter what everyone else does down here with these small numbers. It just doesn't. So it's kind of stupid to put all these people in a deadly and bad position, especially in the winter. Anyhow, if I had coal, which I do, when I find it, I throw it off to the side of the road. When I'm walking, I find a chunk, I throw it up and I throw it in little piles. And I'll come back at some point and I'll collect them piles. Much love, Bethany. Goody in the house. October may be go time. It's looking that way, right? So I'm gonna keep it pushing here. All these things are key. When trade breaks down and all these things break down economically, yeah. Oh, okay. So here's another one. To show that things are shifting with this whole climate thing and the whole global carbon thing that they were pushing. They're putting a lot into nuclear. And what I mean by this is like they're going big time. They're pledging to open up, what is that, New York island that like shut down because they thought it was going to leak? Something mile island. Has the nuclear stuff up there. They're firing it all back up. And what they're saying here is they're about to go back down this route of nuclear big time because they have to. Because it's the only way to defeat this carbon. Since they can't do it by other means, they got to do it this way. And the kicker, here's the kicker. They have to do it to power all the robots and all the AI that they're about to roll out. They're admitting it, and they're just saying it right up front. They're like, there's no way we go down this path and we can power all this without more nuclear. Now, they could roll out Tesla power, which you would call Tesla power free energy, with the Tesla tower. It'd be game over. But there's too much control they give up. They want to be able to control you, to be able to give you a bill every single month and control you. And see, that's what I broke free of. They will never hold that over my head again as long as I have something to do with it. And I suggest you do the same. Where this is going is crazy. And fishing, again, thank you. Had a dream something happened early October. I can't remember what. Remember it was bad. Was that October 2nd? Maybe it's a dream. Thank you. Yeah, I'll make note of it. You never know. You never know. Dreams mean things sometimes. And you're not the only one that's saying something about October surprise. That's why it's always been hinted at. Red October. All these things. We're on the doorstep of it, ain't we? And my birthday. I'm a Libra. I quit celebrating birthdays, though, back when I hit 30, a long time ago. I was like, no way. No way. My 20s ago, no way. I'm 30. And, like, I quit. I just, out the window. If you ask me how old I am sometimes, I don't even know. Yep. All right, so the revolution of money's changing, and before you know it, one big event that pops up, it's going to be changed over. It's going to be changed over to digital if they have it their way, and we know this. And I just want to point out some of the revolutions throughout history. The Agrarian Revolution. It was where we moved from hunter-gatherers to farmers. And then you had the Industrial Revolution, which moved from farmers to factory workers. Then you have the digital revolution here, that is a move from the assembly lines, basically, to skilled and knowledgeable workers. And it's something that we're still in the end of here, but tied into it. They're talking about here is a change in money, a revolution in money. That we've been on the same money system now throughout a lot of that. The same fiat-based money system. And that with the digital age, where this is going, where they see all this going, is definitely everything digital dollar, everything CBDC if the governments have it their way. And the cryptos are supposed to be sitting there looking like a life raft off to the side. Utilize me if the whole economy comes crashing down, you know? But they want you to not realize that they created that too. The U.S. government is Satoshi. They created Bitcoin. We know this without a shadow of a doubt. We know this without a shadow of a doubt. So they control all aspects of this. That's why I tell you, in the digital world, it's all a trap. There's not a cryptocurrency, there's not a digital nothing that I trust out there that can't be tracked, traced, hacked, and all that. And why you would want to put all your fortune, all your wealth into something like that is beyond me. Maybe put some money into it and devil in it a little bit to make some money. But definitely ain't stacking those savings in there. No. Not in no crypto realm. Not in something that, money's supposed to be stable or have some kind of stability to it. When you get into cryptos, it's like the wild, wild west. They could dump out at any time. They really can. Everything's good to bull market, but they're short-lived. In the bear markets, they're not good. They're painful. They can be very painful. And you're going to see one here soon. It could really get kicked into hyper gear if Kamala gets handed this whole thing. Because the moment they say Kamala is your, they won't even get out president out of their mouth, and guys will have done hit the button to dump. Seriously. We're going to be watching this stuff like a hawk, and you got to be watching stuff that happens even right before announcements. That means somebody had insider information. Jody, much love and thank you for the support. I'll tell you, as I've always said, to hell with the cryptos and jump into the gold. The gold and the silver is where it's at. It's just where it's at. I would have, if you can't afford the gold, I'd definitely have silver. I'd buy silver, get your hands on silver. If you're at a flea market, get the silver. If you're at yard sales, get the silver. If you see fine china, get the silver. You see old coins, get the silver. Because it's going to be the currency. And we've said this for the longest time, but oh boy, now a lot of guys are saying this. And a lot of guys that wasn't even on the gold bandwagon are saying this now because they never thought that the end was near in terms of the market. Well, some of those same guys are now changing their tune, selling, and saying, dude, you better get in gold. You better get in gold or some kind of safe haven asset. All right? Even property, something that will retain its value when this whole crash comes down. Survival things. I've been preparing for this thing since they locked us down. The next one's coming. We're right there. We've had all these years. Everybody said all these years. Most people just sat there, looking around, did do nothing. But that's on them. That's on them. when the flood waters start to rise, and they had all the time in the world to build a boat or an ark, and they ignored it. Boy, doesn't this sound familiar? Well, it's starting to rain. I hope you built your boat. Because it's that time. And in this time, really, this place gets wiped out by fire. I ain't afraid. You shouldn't be afraid neither. My main concern is the Most High. Is the Creator that made all this. That's watching me. That's watching our every moves, our every little decision in all this. I just want to appease the Most High throughout this whole life. Fight the good fight. You see what I'm saying? While I'm here, knowing that this doesn't last forever. So knowing that, I'm putting in work for something beyond here. I suggest you do too. But while we're here, you gotta survive, you gotta get by, and you need to know the rules to the game. And there's something also special about gold. It seems the Anunnaki want it, whether it's to fix the atmosphere on their home planet or whatever. All of the governments of this planet want it. And it is the most precious thing on this planet. I mean, it just is. They're stacking all their vaults with gold. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how the game works out here, let me sum it up real quick. If you're a country and you want to play ball and you've got paper, currency that you're printing, like they all are, this monopoly money, and you want to make it for your little country down there and you want to hop in, you want to trade, you want to do all these things, think you're fishing. That's a good choice. When you've got all these people using the money's worth nothing, right? Well, it used to be backed by gold, but now they've got us tricked into just using it. It's backed by nothing, and people just accept it. But it's not all that easy. You've got to convince other countries that your money is legit. And out here on this world stage, the one way that you do that is sending all your gold or gold reserves that you've saved up from your country, like your savings, and you got to give it to London. Understand? It goes to London, and London holds it. This goes for every single country on the face of the planet. If you want to hop into the world stage and you want to play with everyone else, and you want your currency to be worth something, let's just take a step back. A year or two ago, Argentina decimated till they brought in Malay and all this other stuff. The Argentine peso, worthless, absolutely worthless. So worthless that they adopted the United States dollar as their official currency, which is a setup right there. Because you never want to do that. Somebody else's currency. If the U.S. currency was to crumble, well, then so too does their whole economy and everything there. At least if they're using their own currency, if they kept stable, it's more stable, it has a better chance of survival than the currency that's falling apart. So, what have they done? Malay and Argentina and all the boys said, okay, we're going to take the country's gold and we're sending it to London. And what they do is London holds this in their vaults. It's a ransom. Holding it hostage. That's all it is. That's all it is. Every country has to do this if you want them to accept your currency. So what he's hoping to do here is to get their economy and their country and everything back on track to where their currency is accepted and everything is flowing smoother. And you do that by paying your debt, paying your dues to the beast. And this is how you do it. Because right now, the whole world, if you don't know, is set up by what's called the Empire of the City. And there's 3 empires that run this whole place pretty much spiritually, economically, and militarily. Militarily is DC. It's not even it's not even a part of this country yet. It's like its own entity. You see what I'm saying? It's the military arm of the beast here, of this trifecta. The spiritual is Rome, is the Vatican. Okay? They too, wouldn't you know, they They are the same way as DC. They are their own little space within Italy, within the country, that goes by its own laws, its own rules, and they too fly the flag of Empire of the City. The third and final is the financial hub of the whole thing. It is London. It too is the same exact way as DC and the Vatican. Its own hub, where they do their own devilish deeds and all this other stuff within it and get away with it, as they do in DC and all these other things. But they're calling the shots from these places. Okay? They're holding all the gold in London so that you know. That's what they tell everybody, whether it's really there or not. But this is where it's said to all be sent. Okay? That's how the world works when it comes to money, when it comes to countries accepting it, and all that. So, and if you piss them off, and you don't do as they say, do you know what they do? Look at Venezuela. They wanted to rape and pillage it and use it for all of its oil-bearing money and all this, but Venezuela said, we're not having that. So what they do, they said, we're keeping your gold. Maduro tried to go and get his gold back. They said, nah, you can't get it. He's like, oh. And he is a perfect example. You find out the hard way on this world stage that when you go against the beast in their whole system here, and they're holding all your gold, you think you're going to go and get it back? They basically told him to kick rocks. And the whole country's in shambles. Has been. It's where they want it. It's where they want it because Venezuela is so rich in natural resources. Do you see a repeated theme here? You see how important it is not only for a country, but for our states and for us as property owners and everything else to have these assets on our, Venezuela. It has the natural resources to be king for a long time, unless it's toppled, which could be in the offing. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Last week, I was reporting Saudi Arabia was trying to hide all of its gold purchases and what it was adding into its vaults because it's happening that much. Everyone at breakneck speed, as Goldman Sachs said, is buying gold. Everyone. India. I mean, every week, I tell you, it's every single show. I have a new one to tell you. And here's another one. Record gold imports for India in August. The most populated country on the planet here. What do we have here? Gold buying on our desk is relentless. This is Goldman, commodity traders. Silver is starting to move too. Starting to move. Anyone that's been listening to me for the past several years, you should already have your silver stacked. We've been smelting it. Shout out to Tacos, all the other cats out there that picked up smelting. We'll get this in its raw form, gold or silver, and melt it down. But I'm telling you, silver's key. You're going to have to melt it down, get the impurities out, and melt it down a little 5-gram rounds, 10-gram rounds, and then put a value on it. That's going to be your coinage. Or you could get anything pre-1965 that has a lot of silver in it. And I'm telling you, this is going to become the underground currency by default. That's what people are going to use. But silver. So, I told you, this was just my guess on the last show. This was just my gut guess when I said it. Just because I know how the markets go and I know how things react in here at this point. $3,000 gold. It is symbolically a huge thing. And I just, in my own mind, through all the Bitcoin things, in all the days, we were like, oh my gosh, it breaks 30,000. It breaks 30,000. It's off to the races. Pure Bloods for life. Thank you for the coffee. Got that right. But 3,000, when you break it, it's always what they call price discovery mode. When you get into uncharted territory, it can just keep running and running and running and do things you've never seen before. You can run $1,000 beyond that and hit 4,000 and do something crazy stupid. And then, like, once the FOMO begins, it can go parabolic. And with something like gold, the most precious thing on the planet, it can get scary crazy. We haven't seen it. No one's ever seen it at this point like this. We're setting records. And let me tell you, silver's not even moving. Silver needs to, silver has to break $49.50. You understand that? $50 to start setting records. It's a ways off from that right now. So if you were to be filling up on silver right now, and then gold stalls out somewhere, which it will eventually, that is when silver will surge forward. Same thing happens with Bitcoin and the altcoins. When Bitcoin gets doing its thing and charges, everyone stays in it for a while, like they're in gold. But when it dies down and finds a footing, starts to bear out a little bit, gets boring, that's when Ethereum jumps up in all the alts and chases it, and they get all their gains, like clockwork. Seen it time and time again, I'm telling you, man. Gold and silver are the same way. Matter of fact, Bitcoin and the alts, they mimic the kings, gold and silver. They just broke out hugely beforehand. Bitcoin's been on its monster tear. They've had to build up the crypto thing. But gold was sneaky about it, sneaking up in price this whole time while all these people were caught staring at the crypto realm. Gold was creeping up and still is. But what has not is silver yet. It hasn't broke a record yet. So it's got to not only break the record, it's got to catch up with gold. It's got to hit discovery mode itself. Dude, it could run to $100, something crazy. And I wouldn't doubt it, especially with gold heading where it's going. I would just fill up with everything you can, fill the coffers, just like the central banks are. They're doing it for a reason. And what does this say? If I scroll down here, the title says Metal Mania, but he sums it up at the bottom. Metal Mania starts at 3K gold. When I seen that today, I was like, knew it. I knew it. And he says the same thing right here. Gold and silver are absolutely crucial aspects of the modern portfolio. In the next 5 years, we'll see a number of debt crises around the world. It won't just be America, but it's good. I already told you, China's economy is going downhill right now as we speak. It's already started. It started there. But since Americans aren't in China and they don't care about anything else, their heads in the sand, they don't see it coming. Some of us keep our ear to the ground and hear the locomotive coming. Okay? So it says right here, eventually we will experience a true precious metal mania. I suspect it will begin when gold hits $3,000 and silver breaks out above $49.45. It's 1980 all-time high. Oh my gosh, it hasn't hit it since I've been alive this whole time. That is crazy. To be invested in something that hasn't hit a high the whole time that you've been alive is insane. And then to ride that high, I've been telling you about the gold and the silver. It's gonna, like, who didn't listen? Like, I've been telling you. Trying to beat it in your head since 2017. I'm not some expert in all this stuff, but boy, we nailed this one. And anyone that's been filling up is feeling it now. I'm telling you, and you will continue to. You never buy the tip. A bunch of people are going to be like, when do I get in? When do I get in? Or pull back when it gets scary. Wait till one of these big crisis events happen, or they drop bird flu in the coming weeks, or something stupid. A pullback. That doesn't mean we're ever going to see $2,000 gold again. It ain't happening. It ain't like that. It ain't going to have a pullback like Bitcoin. It ain't happening. This thing is going to keep charging and keep charging and keep charging and keep charging. I see by 2030, it's going to be $20,000 gold, easy. Where silver will be, I don't know, hundreds, in the hundreds for sure. It just depends, right? You know, it just depends. They could come out tomorrow and they could be like, we've got a brand new technology that can do this, 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 and this, but it's going to take more silver. The moment they say that, gold could triple, you know, or silver could triple. I'm just telling you, man, congrats to everybody that's on board with this one. You deserve it. And I mean, depending on what you got to do, you got to sell to get by. Do what you got to do. But I would definitely hold on to some for the long haul. Have 2 different stacks. Have something that you're riding in and out of, trading, whatever. That maybe you can spend if you have to, but then keep your long hold stuff in a different pile. It'll be worth it, I'm telling you. It already has been. All right, so I put a video out on this one. You got to sometimes listen to the big dogs. You got to listen to the little hints in what they say. Sometimes they make mistakes. They're not perfect, right? We know this. So the SEC slips up, or did they? Because out here with this black magic and in this evil realm, some of the rules to the game is you've got to tell the people what you're doing. This is why they hide it right in front of your face in movies. This is why they do all the stuff that they do, and they telegraph the stuff, and they stitch it into things. And sometimes things that look like slip-ups aren't. They are them giving you the goods, okay, ahead of time. So what happened here is the SEC releases all this information on the most recent commentary that took place during this big speech by Gary Gensler. He focused on us being in basically a financial crazy time here. He admitted it. He just flat out admitted it. It starts talking about large financial institutions having to be restructured. He goes into all this talk about it. And people were quick to point out that, look, this without things being broke down. Period. And when all these things started to get brought up, they were like, oh crap, like people are going to realize this and they're going to start to panic. And then these were all the comments that were going down in this, okay? And then they started saying, look, you need to make sure, you need to, like, your very first sentence, they were telling Gary Gensler, like, the very first thing in your speech is you need to tell everybody that there is no imminent crisis coming. They're that freaked out about it that they don't want the people to know. So, cat's out of the bag. We got eyes to see. We can see you now. We see what's going on now. So they accidentally published these comments. They weren't supposed to be seen. None of these comments were supposed to be seen, of them freaking out and them wanting them basically to sugarcoat everything and tell the public, look, there is no imminent crisis. That pretty much tells me there's a freaking imminent crisis. They're not panicking for nothing. They're not geeking for nothing. Guys that have been doing this the whole time, that have never geeked the whole time, are geeking. They're freaking out. It's like happening and they know it. It's about to go down. And they want to make sure that the public stays as calm as possible. That's how I see this. This doesn't surprise me, knowing everything that we know at this point, because we stay on top of it. But, of course, something huge is about to happen. And it's obviously going to affect the economy and the banks and everything else. Been warning you and warning you and warning you. And if you were like the individual here earlier that said 401k has been cashed out, you don't know how many people have told me that. Whether they've really done it or not, I don't know. I know some have, because they've shown me the fruits of it. And I am just happy that people are making moves, that they're not going to be stuck in a bad place when this next event gets ready to pop off, which could at any time now. So, let's get into some of the crazy stuff here that could happen. Here's a big wild card that could throw this whole thing, not only the election, but the whole economy into disarray. And it is a huge port strike that no one's talking about, that is absolutely massive, that is about to paralyze our country. I'm not kidding when I say that. I'm not kidding when I say it's going to be worse than everything right after COVID. When everything was shut down, they had boats out to sea. Everything was slowed down. Remember all that? Both sides, they're already saying this is going to put it to shame. It's going to be way worse. It's going to be absolutely massive. They say it's so big that just shutting down for 2 weeks will cause supply chain disruptions all the way into 2025, deep into 2025. And that 240 billion in goods move through the ports every year. And this affects 600,000 jobs. This, you talk about the straw that broke the camel's back. This will be the first stoppage since 1977. Again, the first time since I've been alive that this happened. 45,000 workers at the ports alone. This is going to be nuts. This is going to be nuts. If this goes, and they're saying it probably will, because they're demanding more money and all this stuff, and I feel like all these strikes are designed. This is all part of the staged, planned plot here to bring down this country, piece by piece. We've seen all these other places strike and protest and wipe out jobs, but this one is huge. If you shut down all the East Coast ports and the Gulf Coast ports, and throw in the mix a couple hurricanes to wreck everything, we're done. Oh, then just pop off war with whoever. You ain't getting nothing out of Asia. You ain't getting nothing out of Europe. Shipping lanes are done. I'm telling you, man. We lived, look. You got to realize every single thing runs on cycles. The ebbs and flows of every single thing in this life, whether you realize it or not. Just like the tides of the ocean, just like the pendulum. It swings one way and goes all the way back the other. Okay? And we were at the height, at a pinnacle, during lockdowns and all this stuff. And we've swung clear back the other way to where life was back to normal. There was no more lockdowns, no more nothing, masks, none of that, just like it is now. Back to regular life. But it's when you get back to, everyone gets caught up in their back in regular life, the pendulum's swinging back the other way. And it is. It's already swinging back the other way, and before you know it, the next event is here. We're at the pinnacle again, the other way. Just like lockdowns, we're back there. This is how it works, dude. You better get to know it and quit ignoring it. You're facing black magic. It's better to know how the wizards and the witches are working than to not. If you just want to keep ignoring them and not knowing how they work, then their spells will work on you constantly. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Yeshua, we cast these demons out. There's power in the name. There's good and there's bad. There's a light and the dark. There's the yang. It is very real. You should know this by now. This evil is very real. Look at the richest people on the planet. Evil, 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 evil. Every one of them. None of them are doing anything for humanity, like large scale. They're all puppets. They're all actors. They're all playing the game. If they become a threat at any point, they get their card pulled, they get assassinated, whatever. As long as they're really good salesmen and actors here on the world stage and can play the game and do whatever and do what the beast wants them, they'll make their money. But they surely aren't helping people fully. I mean, guys with this much money, all the billionaires here, we should have fresh water everywhere. There shouldn't be to talk about food anywhere. You already know what I'm saying, man. We should have we don't even have one or two to even talk about here in terms of the billionaires, like all evil. It's like, how do we stand a chance then? This shows you how evil this place is, man. Anyhow, all these billionaires are about to become trillionaires. And what this shows us is that Elon Musk is going to be the first trillionaire. If they don't take him out, if he's assassinated because you can flip the script. It can happen. It's one caveat I'll never rule out because it can happen. I always told myself, though, man, if you're going to destroy the thing, it's got to be somebody that goes from the inside. You got to go all the way into the mothership and all the way up to Darth Vader. And you've got to work your way all the way up there and then destroy it from the inside. And to do it, you've got to go through all that. Play the game, so to speak. I don't know if anyone has that in them, but who knows? Elon could have an epiphany that, he's the chosen one at the top, and that, one morning he wakes up and he's like, look, you were put here to kill all the evil. Do it, and dude starts doing crazy stuff. The dude starts talking crazy stuff. Dude starts talking truths, just like Kennedy did. Starts calling out the enemy, pointing a finger at him, saying we're going after him, just like Kennedy did. You know what comes next. We'll see. I don't ever rule it out. I mean, somebody's got to step up and do something positive. I mean, they have to. Someone has to. It's the way that it goes. Again, the yin, the yang, the pendulum back and forth. But for every 10 billionaires out there that are evil, there's only one good one. Hell, I don't even know if it's that. It may be 100 to 1. Bring me the one righteous billionaire. We'll start there. Anyhow, this censorship continues, and I don't trust Elon at all. He tries to say that, freedom of speech and all this stuff on X while he's censoring me heavily, and a bunch of other truthers heavily. The numbers show it. Me and others are in the dungeon, and we're flatlined. I see new people come in all the time. My notifications tell me every day I have new followers come in every day. But I could lose followers every day too. So what that means is a chart should show every day that I had, a spike, up, down, up, down, up, down. I don't have that. Someone like me is so censored, I'm what they call flatlined. And you see, the analytics prove it. There's flaws to the game out there. And if you know where the loopholes are and find them, you can expose some things. And this is one of them. And this showed me they had me trapped. They got a lid on me on X. It's more than shadow banned or anything. I mean, it's in the dungeon, dude. All the shills are getting promoted out there and they're just blowing their accounts up, and they're only posting a few times a week or whatever. Doesn't matter. When you're getting shilled and pushed out there, it doesn't matter. They'll push you. The algorithm will push you. But when you're getting censored, you get put in the dungeon, and the exact opposite happens. So, Telegram is about to become like the next heavily censored place. There was a little bit of freedom there. They targeted the man that runs it. They basically threatened him. Now, since he's out on bail, all of a sudden, he's going to give up people's IP addresses, phone numbers, personal information, any data that the beast wants. He's going to give up now. Yep. So, Durov has made this choice. Basically, they locked him up, threatened him a little bit, hit him with a little bit of a fine, and said, well, if you want to play ball and listen, we'll let you out on a leash, but you got to do this, this, and this. So, Telegram, none of it's going to be safe. This guy's not making a stand. He's buckling. Isn't a good sign. What does that show? The leadership over at Discord and Reddit and all these other places. They'll all buckle. They're all cowards. They're all cowards. Ain't nobody stepping up to fight this beast. Who can wage war with the beast? Who's gonna do it? None of them. Only the Most High that's coming back to smoke them all. The King of Kings, as it's written. Yeah. And I'll keep speaking it into existence till he comes back and smokes them. Because I don't see any, I just told you, show me a righteous billionaire. I don't even, where's the cavalry? Where's the white knights to come and save the day? There are none. No one's coming to save the day. We're all on our own out here until the Most High that we keep the faith in returns. It's the only one coming to save the day. Ain't no political anyone out here saving anyone from nothing. It's all charade. It's all evil. And, yeah. We just get censored, tracked, and traced. Here's another one for you. Microsoft, in their LinkedIn, stealing your data as well. So you think it's okay to just go on LinkedIn and put your work profile and all your histories that maybe some big shot somewhere see you and offer you a good job or something? Like, no. It's just a trap too. It's just a trap too. Yep. So LinkedIn using people's personal data to train their AI now. So they're taking your data and they're stuffing it into this algorithm without your permission. And it's taking things from you, your likeness, anything connected to you without your permission. I mean, it could create something, an artificial person in an artificial realm that looks like you, that behaves and everything like you. All off your data that it gathered. That's how, I mean, if it's training the algorithm off your data, then what is it going to produce? Do you see? And they're saying, well, this is what the enemy looks like. This is what the enemy sounds like. This is what they talk about and how they post. This is what the enemy. You see? They train it that way. And yeah, we need to unify. And thank you for the coffees, Adam. Yeah, we need to unify. I've been trying to do this for a long time. But whether it's something we do or going to other events, it's been garbage. People talk a lot of crap. They're keyboard warriors. A lot of people don't get up off that tail for nothing. I've traveled all across this country to many different places, and I've told people ahead of time where I'm going. They've had their chance to come out and meet, so we can rally, so we can get together, unify, bring our numbers together, not go burn places down. Just bring our numbers together, a show of force of our numbers. We can be peaceful, no pitchforks, just to come together. But people talk so much crap. 1,000,000-man marches, 1,000,000 mask marches, 1,000,000 truckers on DC, all this crap. I've gone to a million man whatevers all kinds of times, and they've been duds over and over. Over and over. Over and over. Because no one shows up. No one shows up. That's why I finally came back and told everybody, look, if you want to take it to the government somewhere, you've got a capital in every state. Take it there. Quit wasting your time going to D.C. Take it to the politicians in your own state. That's where it counts anyway. Fight the fight there. If you ain't got the gas money to go to D.C., we should be able to come up with a plan to make it to your own capital. Start there. And if you don't think the battle's worth fighting there, pick a place, pick a state that you think is going to be worth fighting the fight in. And make your move, is what I say. We're running out of time. If you're going to pick a place, don't pick a place like being overran by chaos. You're just asking for mass trouble. I'm going to play a clip here, This is a horde of juveniles. I know we see a lot of crazy stuff out there. This is kids, juvies, out here in Beverly Hills, in California, rolling up, army of them, in storming a 7-Eleven with their masks on and just ransacking it and taking whatever they want. And it just shows you, again, the power of people, right or wrong. It shows you what kind of destructive damage can quickly be done by a large group of people that are being tactical. They're being tactical here. They're going in, they're hitting it up, and they're getting out, and they're gone. Because there's so many, in the way that they're doing it, they're like getting away with it all over the place, man. This isn't the immigrant gangs. I got something else on that here in a minute, because there's about to be an explosion when it comes to that. But I'm going to run this clip so you can see what's happening in Beverly Hills and how this is being done. And the idiots do it right in front of the police, as you just seen. So, yeah, that's what's happening out there en masse. Now, I've got an update here on James O'Keefe getting set to be detained. This is very vague information, and I'm almost wondering if it's just some hype. There's things about James O'Keefe I've never trusted, and I've just gut. My gut's never done me wrong or led me wrong, and there's just been things like, how does this dude know this or get in there with this and that and all these things? How come he hasn't been taken down by the feds? He's so dangerous, and all these other things. How come he don't take the shots that I see other cats really fighting the fight take? He's just free to run around and set all these people up all the time. Well, he's supposed to be making a big announcement tomorrow. And I feel like this right here, it says he was detained near the Canadian border by the Vermont State Police. But they don't say why. They don't say why he was detained. They don't say when he was released or anything. They don't go into any other detail. So it's kind of like, man, was this just hype? Just to get the word out there that he's making this big announcement tomorrow? Because these guys operate like that. I'm just saying, he could have goods tomorrow. He's come with good stuff before. But I'm just saying, people can come with good stuff. Still, doesn't mean this is not some shady stuff and connections there, man. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, so we'll play a clip here of creepy Biden. We don't have too much longer to deal with this dude. But he basically says his staff doesn't let him bring kids around. He's like, I'm going to do something my staff don't let me do. They basically don't let him bring kids or little girls up onto the stage. So, he says it in so many words here.
Well, when I got to be president, I get to do things that I want to do, but my staff tells me what I can't do. But I'm going to do it anyway. All the young women, young kids out there that are out there, come on up and do this when we stand behind me when we do this. Come on. And the guys. Come on.
And the guys. Come up here so I can snuff on you. Some of this stuff, man. Look, he snatches one up. He's right up on one immediately. He's right up on it. Hands around her waist, right? He's like right up on this one. He's just all smiles. Pedo Joe up there. Just, yeah. And this guy just is falling apart. But yeah. We got to, and look at this. Look at this. He can't even give the regular speeches that he's supposed to give in these meetings. Like chairing a cabinet meeting. He's supposed to go and talk to these people and do what a president does. But no. For whatever reason, and people are like, this is crazy. Jill is sitting in for him. This is crazy. Like no other president on the planet that says, oh yeah, I can't do this, or I'm going to take off, or whatever. He's that, I don't know what you want to call it, out of it. He's that far gone. He can't even finish the job at this point. That's why it was highly speculated that Kamala could be made president even before the election, just to give her that gusto that she was the first female president ever. And all it will take is some kind of health scare from Biden in the next few weeks for that to happen. It could be short-lived. It doesn't matter. As long as they get it, it's all about getting her in with that title. Which again, I don't even know if she has the blood to do it. I think Donald Trump wins this election. And then they throw him in jail. Try to. It'll get crazy as soon as he gets in there. If they even allow it, they may contest it. They may try to contest him. We're going to get into that here in just a second. But here is your border czar. Yeah, that's right. Your border czar and your vice president, Kamala Harris, caught chanting, down, down with deportation. This is sick. It's disgusting. Your border czar. It's just it's a rigged game. We've been set up, man. We've been set up. But yeah, I'm going to play this clip. It's disgusting, but yeah.
Up with education, down, down with deportation. 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 Up with education, down, down with deportation.
It makes me sick even watching her sitting there dance, doing whatever the hell she's sitting there doing and saying that. Like, this woman, just like Biden, but she's taking it further. She represents the embodiment of destroying this country. At a fast pace. Accelerating it. Like I said, if she's announced our president, the markets will tank that night. For those wanting to buy some dips, get ready. Get ready. Can guarantee you everything's about to change. They do that. The whole game will be different. As far as everything's been ran, if you want to start taxing unrealized gains and all that, it will decimate everything. Just that one move alone. Couple with it, raising the capital gains tax. But unrealized gains on investments, dude, you will see the dump. You will see the dump. The Niagara Falls dump of dumps is what you will see. And how could that not usher in how can that not be economic collapse in the whole nine? I told you. To me, it's got to be timed with them stealing 401ks. Get ready, man. Man, the great taking is what I call it, man. They're just about to take it all. And here is Pelosi caught lying. I'm going to preface this, okay? There was no primary ever held. Okay, these are facts. You can go look them up right now. There was no primary held after this whole Biden debacle, to choose who was going to be their main candidate. Okay? But Pelosi gets caught here lying, saying exactly that. And like the whole crowd cheers because they don't know any better and all this. But after it's all said and done, just like Kamala trying to come up there and say that there's no troops actively serving anywhere around the planet, and they're all over the place. And that was a bold-faced lie. Here's a bold-faced lie.
You had reportedly said you wanted a sort of an open primary if Joe Biden stepped down. Did you change your mind because you saw all the excitement around Kamala Harris?
No, I didn't change my mind. We had an open primary and she won it. Nobody else got in the race because she was politically astute. And
that was a lie. And they can get away with this. All they got to do is show someone saying something on camera and the crowd clapping, and it's a magic trick. It's an illusion. And they sell it all day long. Unless you got literal fact checkers, people that are sitting there calling it out, they can get away with this. But people are calling it out more and more. I'm thankful for that. Good to see more people out there checking them on their stuff instead of just taking them for their lies. So ABC is admitting that Kamala is significantly underperforming amongst Hispanic voters. And it's crazy because Trump sucked in this department against Clinton. Clinton was bashing him here, but he won, in that one. And he was doing even better against Biden. Of course, they gave us Biden. But now he's doing better than he ever has in terms of polling with Latinos. And Harris doing worse than Biden or Clinton. So not looking good in that department for her. And then the question started to fly today surrounding the release of this assassin's manifesto letter or letter to the public. All this stuff has just got red flags all over it. But they refused to release past manifestos, past information, because they feared copycatters would jump up or whatever. So why would they release this second Trump assassin or attempted assassin dude from behind the fence dude? Why would they release this letter to the public? To complete the job. $150,000 reward this guy is offering for anyone that can complete the job. It's what he put in this letter. And it's like, hold on, man. He says, I failed, but he's offering this to whomever. And people are like, man, that's not even right. That's like not even right. Like, is some fool going to go out there and try and take him up on a stupid-ass offer? And why did they put it out there? Yeah, psyopy as it gets. It all has been. Ever since the very first Trump thing. In the open field. And all this crap. And where did the secondary thing happen? In an open environment. It's like, man, just throw him in like the Pope mobile or some shit, something like that. Let's get it over with. Just put him behind a bulletproof glass wall. I mean, back when, now that I think about it, go back and look. I remember his acceptance speech and all of it when it came out. He was behind a wall of glass. Obama was. He didn't go out in the open like Trump did. Nowhere near it. Of course, he didn't have parades of people like Trump does neither. I've never seen anyone have the support in terms of a president-elect, as I've ever seen for Donald Trump in my life. I'm not a Trumper. I'm the one that tells you this is the left-right paradigm, but I tell you the truth. In terms of my American people and where they're at, their minds, they're putting all their hope in that basket right there. And it's scary. Because I see decimation coming. On Trump's watch, I feel they're going to crash the market on him because it's him. They spend all this time telling us and showing the whole world they hate him. They paint the picture that the establishment hates him. He's the opposite of it, right? Who better than to dump the whole thing on than him and blame him? I mean, that's the ultimate FU for the books and for everything. So the whole country, the whole thing came down and ended. Whole thing ended because of you, you fool. Look, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much how it would be. The only other option, and it's an open option, is Kamala. Get her in there, and it accelerates it. Kamala dumps the market immediately. That's the difference. Kamala is an immediate dump. The moment the TV says Kamala is your president, it dumps. Okay? Paul, welcome to the underground. Any other new members out there to the underground that I may have missed? Much love. Thank you for the support. Yeah, man, we're going to keep it pushing here. Trump says he will not run again if he loses. And this is interesting. Very, very interesting. Because if they throw you Kamala, it's done. You understand? If they throw us Kamala, it is done. There's no excuse for patriots, for all these people that are hovering around Trump and him as the savior. There's no excuse from there. Daft Voyages, thank you for the coffee. I have to try to open up that link out of an email here in a minute. Thank you, much love. So he's not going to run if he loses. So if they give us Kamala, this means that none of the people that last time says, you know what? Okay, you got us. You gave us Biden. You got us, but guess what? We see you surrounding the White House with a fence and National Guard. We see you trying to bait us. Okay. We're not going to do nothing. We're just going to sit here and we're going to wait 4 years. And they said this after Trump announced he was going to end up running again. We're going to wait 4 years for Trump. We're going to wait this thing out. Nobody ever did anything. Nobody ever rose, wasn't no rallies, no patriots of defending the border, and nobody doing nothing but going to the Trump rallies. So what happens when Trump is removed? What this means is this. It means that if Kamala wins, Trump is never to be seen again. The savior is gone. And if Trump does win, he can only serve 4 more years. So after 2028, there's no more Trump. Period. What are they going to do? What are all of the Trumpers going to do when this man is not around? My best guess is that there's not even going to be much of a country left at this point by the time. That's their plan anyway. It's going to be broken down, fractured. Probably into, I don't know what you want to call it. Certain states break down their own countries, little mini countries. Certain states would morph together. State boundaries would fall away. Counties would just go with neighboring states and counties that they aligned with. And this whole thing will start to reshape. It's especially if Kamala gets in. Because it's a sure sign to you and to everyone that if you didn't get the picture last time, that they're flexing on you and that it's the official FU from the beast. It's them saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Daring you. Well, I'd say this time you have to rise. You have to do something. You can't just sit there and do nothing again. And again, if Trump loses, he's not showing back up in 4 years. Someone, thank you for the coffee. God bless you. Right back. Much love. I don't know, man. This, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. What does that mean? Well, in this situation, as everyone sees it, it's that hope for the best. The best is Trump wins, and the worst is that Kamala. And some would say, well, you're picking the lesser of two evils. Which isn't that always the case when you never have a horse in the race? So, you know, as I've always said, until one of us get up there, one of us, we the people, one of us, not from Camelot, not from the bloodline, one of us, blue-collar Americans, then maybe you got a chance. Till then, it's a puppet show. Taco sliding in. Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for sharing the links. Hope the martial arts went good. What do we got there? Someone with the coffee. Hey, I appreciate you as well. Thank you to the fullest. Look, man, as I was saying earlier, people want unity and they want to unify, but the best thing that I know to tell you is to try to come together with your communities. And every time there's said to have ever been a big event out there, it's just been a letdown. And, you know, I can see why a lot of people, much love too, Judy, Gary, all the crew, Deanne, I can see why people gravitate toward this because they see it's where a lot of their fellow Americans are and everything else. And it's become massive. It is like going to a rock show or something. That's how big Trump's things are. It is. It's like going to a football game or a rock show. It's seriously, it's that big. There's nothing else like it. But when those days end, like they're going to, you know, when Trump won, there was no more Trump rallies. There was no need for it, really. I mean, there was nothing. He didn't have to have a rally. He was president. So we lived through it. It's only through these election cycles that you see these things. You see these big, you know, boat parades backing him and all this other stuff. Yeah, well, look, it's no secret, man. A lot of everyday people say, man, life as I used to know it was better back when Trump was president. And they compare it to now, inflation, all these things, the migrant crisis, all the craziness going on. They're like, man, life was better. And they're right. So you can't argue with that. So this pulls more people back into Trump's direction by default. Just everyday people, quick and easy. He has that. He has that. There's no one else like him. There is not. Politically, globally, there's no one else like him. The only thing short that I would say making this dude the Antichrist, because we talked about all the biblical stuff, is he's not performing miracles. He's not performing miracles like the Eunucha is. But it's not to say everyone's got a role to play. Is what I've come to see, there's a lot of players in the game under the spirit of the Antichrist's name here on the world stage. And there's some players that you'll see will step up and maybe just shock the world and change history, just like JFK did. Can Trump do that? Sure he can. Does he got it in him? I don't know. I do not know. Could Elon do it? Trump do it? Any of them could. They could, and I'm not going to say it can't happen. Thank you, Paul, for gifting the membership. I always leave the door open for something like that. For God to touch the heart of a powerful world leader and open his eyes. And change the game. Getting close, though. Time's ticking down. What happens in this election, though? What happens if it becomes a contested election? Electoral college comes into play. And this is critical. You have to have an electoral college, and anyone out there that tries to diss it or try to take away from it is really just trying to take away from the safeguards that were put into place by our Constitution. Then make sure that a state, or a bigger state, for instance, or within a state, your 5 biggest cities or whatever that had the most people couldn't become control hubs. That it had to be fair and balanced, and you had to spread it out from county to county, all the way across, and then take your votes in that way. A more even approach. That way, everyone just doesn't pile into a couple easy controllable sectors, like 5 cities or 5 towns. Be able to control those 5 towns and 5 cities and control the outcome. When it's every single county, it makes it a lot more difficult for them to try to do that and to manipulate it. So, check this out. I remember the last election, we talked about these crazy things that could happen, and this was one of the possibilities. Time's flying, man. And this electoral college situation can end up in a tie. And what's crazy is this time around, it's not that it's, it maybe could happen, or a conspiracy theory. It's actually a high probability, high chance that it happens. And it's kind of crazy to this whole thing because, and let me remind you, we're in a weird situation here with the vice president running for president. Because remember, when Trump and Biden went head to head, and they told you Trump lost and Biden won, it was up to the vice president at the time, Mike Pence, to certify the election results and to allow or not allow, to stop it dead in the tracks if it was criminal, or to allow it to proceed. And Mike Pence allowed it to proceed. That's why they call him a Judas. That's why all this other stuff against Pence, that he, as vice president, had the last call. It was his role. Now, apply that to what's about to happen. Kamala Harris is going to what? If she loses the election and she's bitter, what can she do? It's on her to certify that Trump wins. Will she do it? And how can she certify herself if she wins? How? That is a huge question. Because that is the way the game goes. Soul Foundry with the coffee. Much love, brother. Yeah, it is all coming to a head, my brother. Here, let me dive into what happens here. Oddly enough here, if this thing ties, this is kind of crazy too, Trump can win it with 269. Kamala can't. Kamala can't. Trump can. She can't. She has to have 270. He can win it one way. And this all comes down to Nebraska. This is nuts. Their electoral system is different. And this is what makes all the difference in the world and how this whole thing's going to end up. Currently, Nebraska is one of the only states in the country that doesn't award all of its electoral votes to the presidential candidate who received the most votes statewide, which is a winner-take-all system. Instead, what they do here is they split up their votes by congressional districts. Okay? So, the state has 5 electoral votes, a small fraction of the electoral college, which is made up of 270. Nebraska has 3 congressional districts. If a presidential candidate wins a district, they get a single electoral vote. If they win in all 3, they get 3 electoral votes. The state's 2 remaining electoral votes go to the person who received the most votes statewide. This system has led to Nebraska splitting its electoral college votes in the past. This is kind of crazy. This has happened in the past. And the last time all the stuff went down like this was exactly 200 years ago. 1824. This is just nuts. This is like scripted. All this is, man. If Nebraska acts, Trump wins on 269, but Harris would need 270. Okay? Time expired in Maine to be able to try to pull this off. But in Nebraska, if they act on this and they go down this route as they're saying right here, they alone could tip the scale. And I think that from everyone that I know coming out of Nebraska, Vet and everybody else, they're heavy Trump leaning. So I wouldn't see how he doesn't get this here. Unless some last minute effery takes place in one of these battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and they're like, they pull some crap, some last minute crap here. With all the ballot stuff. Anything's on the table right now. All right, so let's dive into some world events here. Because we've got war popping off all over the place. And if you haven't heard, literally, closer to midnight, closer to World War III than we've ever been. Turkey now stepping up and saying that Israel is dragging the entire region into an all-out war. World war. And that everybody is getting up and gearing up to get ready. At the same time, Israel unleashes hell on South Lebanon. Drops, some are speculating, a nuke, a tactical nuke. Giant mystery bomb goes off. I'm going to turn the volume down on this explosion because it's so loud. I'm going to warn you ahead of time. This is going to be huge. Yes, on Lebanon, in these attacks, because that's what they've shifted. They've wrapped up in Gaza. They've turned north. They're bombing the crap out of everything in Lebanon and maybe shooting over into Syria a time or two. Much love, Paul. Watch this explosion. You can see the shock wave in the atmosphere.
مثل ما هي لايف.
Massive. Massive mushroom cloud. Whatever they just hit, they just decimated it. There's other clips here of them bombing the crap out of all over. And then all these other fires popping up. It's just, dude, it's insane. What does this say? U.S. sending more troops to the Middle East. So, if you're going to send more troops somewhere, that means you've already got troops there, right? So again, this goes against Kamala's claims that we have no troops anywhere. That was a flat-out lie to everyone's face. That's how bad she is. But they're about to send 40,000 more troops. So what are those troops going to be doing? What do you think? They're not going to be fighting Israel. So what are they going to be doing? Who are they going to be fighting and killing? These people that are buried under rubble? I don't get it. Get no protest here in this country or anything about any of it. Because everyone's just so wrapped up in this election. That's why a lot of things are going to come to a head right in the window of this election. Because, just because. It's opportunistic. Oh, here's one. Israel. And we felt this right at the gate. Just by the way that they were posturing. Israel denies any connection to the pager attacks that were blowing up all over the place. You know, the multiple days of devices getting blown up, two-way radios, even solar panels, like stuff that made no sense. Stuff that was beyond the one shipment that came in of pagers. That's all getting traced back to this back company, BAC, who apparently handled all of it. Or anything that blew up at this point. And, well, Israel's saying they had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it, huh? All this happens, and right behind it, they start bombing. Like, oh my. Dude, this is scary. I want to remind all of you, this is extremely scary. When they can blow up your device anywhere at any given time, they don't even have to target it with a drone anymore. They can just blow the device up, heat it up, cause it to go into massive vibration mode, heat it up, and then it explodes, especially if it's got lithium battery, the lithium batteries that are in it. And it's done. Like I said, imagine if this gets applied by China. They hack all the iPhones, and then people's heads get blown off left and right everywhere. Not going to be a good day, okay? But just imagine, it could happen. It could happen. Anything can happen at this point. I warn you, any of this technology, any of this electronics, man, all this stuff can happen with it, man. It's almost like its own animal. I'm telling you, it's like its own beast. And I've always felt that way anyway. I felt that way with the whole thing about the beast. I compare it to the Wizard of Oz at the end, you know, like that big digital face that you see is like they're finding a way to take the spirit, to take the jinn, the demon, and show you it in this realm. And they're like Frankenstein. The jinn is acting almost like a soul, animating this technology coming into it. Just like the face off the Wizard of Oz at the end. But in a more real sense, this is a real entity. Not, so, you know, fake isn't the little man controlling it behind the curtain. These entities are real. The jinn are real. And you're giving them a conduit. Do you understand what I'm telling you? This technology that they're setting up, they're just asking it to jump into it, to give it life. It's what they're doing. And it's crazy. And even Elon said it before. Again, he didn't keep it a secret. He said they're trying to summons the demon. He said it. Yeah, we're in crazy times. So, look at this next one. The United States is proposing a new rule to ban all Chinese tech in any of our vehicles. It'd go beyond that. I'm telling you, it'd go beyond that. Why? Because they're saying it's a national security risk. This is huge. Absolutely huge. You thought it was something with the drones, DJI, and all that stuff. This is way beyond. This is going to anything Chinese, any Chinese tech. You're talking anything, any chip, anything. Do you know? Oh my gosh, you know you could walk out to any store, walk through any mall, go into any electronics store at that and flip over every item. And I'm going to tell you that like 90% of it's going to be made in China. You should already know this. All the stuff that is made in China here. Okay? Whether it's anything, all the cheap electronics, it could be anything. I think about it, man. It's got me thinking of everything. Got me looking at my Sennheisers. Got me looking at my headphones, man. Everything. Like, man, they could blow up anything. You got, and the ones I got on are wired, but say someone out there had Bluetooth, and they had a way to hack into the Bluetooth headset and explode it. Because it has lithium batteries in it. I mean, it's all it takes is a combination of certain things, and it's done. I'm serious. What about your speakers in your house? What about your little radio or anything like that? Anything. There could be some little components inside of whatever. You didn't even know it. Especially all your phones. All the phones everyone's got. All the tech out there. All the drones was just the tip of the iceberg. China's got tech in everything. It's scary. Imagine they start blowing things up. And I mean, Tesla just showed us the power of being able to shut down a vehicle quick. When that Chechen warlord threw a Gatling gun on the back, Elon saw it, told him to take it off. He didn't listen. Elon shut it down. Stopped this vehicle. Shut down the Cybertruck. Stopped it dead in its tracks. Now, does any one of you want to go buy and own a dang Cybertruck? No one. Elon gets pissy with you because you didn't agree with him on Twitter. And he shuts you down and leaves you hanging, stranded. Oh, yeah. That's where we're at. He could flex at any moment. Now, imagine the Chinese decide to do this. They've got millions inside of our country right now, here, waiting. You thought this Trende Raqua was something. You just wait till the Chinese stuff pops. You'll know we're in full-blown world war. They're here for a reason. And I believe they come out the shadows as soon as this whole thing pops. And just imagine, if they've got any of this. Remember the Obama movie showed us all the electric cars. All the cars were going to start driving toward wherever. And they were piling up on the highway, causing chaos. And also the drones that flew in and all that. They too hijacked. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All of it. So, what does our U.S. military now say? Get ready to go to war with China. Our government is preparing our military and giving them manuals right now. Navy specifically, because they're behind. They're saying, look, China's now got more ships than us. We can't match them out there even if we wanted to right now. They're passing us up. This is crazy. I've told you this for months and months and months. But they've surpassed us. They're now larger than us. And, While Biden's over here trying to recruit LGBTQ members into our military and decimate it. China's advanced. The dragon is advanced on the world stage. And they rule everything in the South China Sea. There's no way we can step up and do anything with Taiwan. I mean, can you imagine if they could go down to Cuba and to do anything like this? Could you imagine if Russia set up missile units right now down in Mexico? And they could. How quickly the game would change. When we start getting our cities pounded and bombed here, never happened. It's about to. Out of nowhere. When you're introduced to World War III, when this whole thing goes full scale, all cards on the table, these dudes come out the shadow, they'll strike. Dude, this is going to be a nightmare. This is going to be a nightmare, man. Look how the deck's stacked. It's done already, man. Again, they're all here. The enemy is here like a Trojan horse. They're just waiting for nightfall, so to speak, or the bat signal, as I said, to come out. And I said that before. That's when it was absolutely quiet. The bat signal came out. Now, Tren de Aragua is all over the place. All this stuff with the migrants, all over the place. And it's only going to get worse. And remember, we have not even mentioned anything to do with the Chinese that have slipped in to these separate facilities that are butted right up next to our military places. Why would our government ever allow another country, especially like China, to buy that much land near dozens of military facilities? I mean, it just blows my mind. So many strategic facilities across the United States. And when you look at that map, China's butted right up against it. Insane. Absolutely. They could just overrun them. In one night, they could just all charge. I don't know if our people would stop them at this point. They'd get hit quick. It's never happened here. Talk about sacking a military base. Dude, they've been stalking them. I've been told you and reported on it. We had a general shoot one of these dudes out in his yard and kill him. They didn't want everybody to really catch wind of that, but it's out. Yeah, the enemy here illegally stalking our generals on their property, spying on their children. He capped on them, killed them, put them down. That's how intense this is. They're here. They're on missions, spying on our top dudes. Like, we need to be on missions as citizens, finding out where they're at, where they're being housed, filming it, spreading the word, plastering it in the newspaper, all this stuff. Enemy's here, man. Everyone's sleeping. I'm telling you. It's just, I sit out here and say it all the time, but it doesn't matter how many times I say it. A certain amount of people will just never do nothing. And they're just going to get it the hard way. In the end, that's all I can say. If you never took time to prepare, what do you expect? With all this culminating, it's something huge is about to come from somewhere. I tell you, something huge. So, you keep hearing about red lines, Russia's red lines. Well, all they're waiting on, and everybody out there right now should know this, all they're waiting on is for Biden and the United States to say, yeah, green light on long-range missiles into Russia. And it's World War III. That's it. It officially will mean the West is at war openly with Russia, no proxy. NATO admitted it. Vladimir Putin just admitted it. The moment this happens, it is World War III, by definition. They say the moment NATO is at war with Russia, it's World War III. So, nukes or not, or where they go off at, I mean, there's mushroom clouds going off like constantly. Now, I've been reporting on them here for the past week or so. Different war fronts. involving the Holy Land and what was the breadbasket of Europe, which looks to be the linchpin of World War III, Ukraine. And this has been in the making since the Obama administration. I've been reporting on this. For real. It's Crimea. So they took it. Look what just happened with me telling you this. They hit them again. Ukraine scores another large hit on Russian ammunition depots inside the country. More huge hits. I'm telling you, in any moment, something massive's about to happen. You cannot continue down this path, wiping out main depots in Russia without them striking back, without them striking something huge. I feel it's here. I feel it's the United States, man. I feel like we're about to get hit. Here on this world stage. I feel like it's going to happen. Then what? Yeah, you could say we're in World War III then, but it's too late when tactical nukes, Project Blackjack goes into motion. All these tactical nukes go off in all these cities. Man, Russia's got more subs than anyone on the planet, and we know they've been creeping off both coastlines right this very moment. Many. We had them out there flying, doing circles, geeking, trying to track them all the way out into the Atlantic. All they got to do is release a couple. And they don't even have to hit a city. I'm talking strategy. Because me and the boys, we've spent a lot of nights talking about, on past streams, what do you do in a war? If you were to tactically go to war, right now, what is the best way to hit America? Okay? Really, what is it? I mean, put on your thinking cap, jump into your military shoes. You become the enemy. You got to think like the enemy to figure them out, to figure out and see through their eyes what they're seeing, what they're planning and plotting. How do you take out a country quick and easy? One hit. Because we don't want to nuke them and then risk getting nuked back. One shot. How do we take them down? One shot. There's not such a thing. Oh, yeah, there is. It's called an EMP. Or hemp. And it is the best thing. I would deploy it via satellite. It would be the best because you want it to come down right below the geosynchronous orbit of the satellites. That's where you want to detonate it, right over your target. Right over your target. And what's crazy is Kim Jong-un and North Korea have launched multiple objects in the space that are said to have been EMPs, potential EMPs, that go over our country every day, multiple times. Now, if I'm the enemy, and it's me, and it's Russia, and it's China, and North Korea's on board too, Iran, and we're all that side, and we're looking to take down the United States, what's the best way to take them down? And Canada too, since they're on board with them, and they're calling for missile strikes against deep into Russia too. And not so much Mexico, because Mexico was cooperating with us. They're actually letting us sneak up in there and set up shop. We want to position an EMP right over the northern border of the United States. Over the Dakotas, right over the middle of the country. And you take them all out. You take every single city and town out. The entire continent will be put in the dark, into the Stone Ages. This is how you defeat America with one hit, with one strike. You know, the crazy thing is that the stage is set right now as I speak. As I speak. Those satellites go over this country, and they could hit them at any time. Multiple. They could have backups. If there's a dud, it's there. So I'm just telling you options, giving you options. You don't have to nuke any towns or cities at all. All right. Let's go to a plan B. What if all the EMPs dud out? What if it doesn't work? Let's just say that. And we've got to go with, we've attempted it, so it's worn out. But we've got to do something. We've got to cripple them. We've got to find a way to take out many cities. But again, we don't want to strike every city with a nuke. What do? Well, remember me telling you about the whole East Coast Gulf port thing earlier and how vulnerable it makes us just in the strike? Now, there's something in a weapon that we brought up a long time ago. Because when you fold up your money, not only do you see two towers smoking, which they telegraphed that happening, and it happened, but you see a wall of water coming in on a city. And that can only happen on a coastal United States city. And the best weapon that we could realistically, and I think is the best weapon to use in this situation, if you're going to try to take out the United States, is a tsunami bomb. And you can do it by diving an airplane into the ocean packed with explosives. You can do it by creeping a sub up right out where they're allowed to be in international waters. And all they got to do is launch it and it explode. You could even stop it, but it's done. The tsunami that it will generate will destroy every city along the East Coast. It will wipe it out from New York City, every city you could think of. Boston will be gone. All the ports will be gone. Every single one we were just talking about will be wiped out. Where that bridge collapsed and all that, wiped out. All of it gone. This tsunami will wipe out everything. And it will pave the way for any military that wants to come in behind it. There's no other way outside of lights out. There's really no physical way to take out so many cities at one time. It's almost like, it's like a bowling ball coming in and it's striking them all these pins going down. You cannot beat the tsunami. East Coast tsunami wave. You would decimate everything from New York City to Key West. I mean, there wouldn't even be certain places left. It would crush them. It would be done. It would be game over. And it's not just the United States. Anyone. This can happen anywhere. You could do it to Hong Kong. You could do it to Israel. You could do it to anyone, any place out there. You couldn't do it to Moscow because it sits so deep within Russia. Even D.C. would get smacked by it. Yeah, man. So, just saying, people couldn't fathom that destruction. People couldn't fathom that destruction. I'm going to play a clip here, okay? I think this is important. This is a clip that demonstrates what will happen if one bomb was to go off and they were to hit, say, London.
Upon detonation, a fireball as hot as the sun rapidly expands, reaching a radius of 950 meters. anything trapped inside this fireball is instantly vaporized. In our simulation, the epicenter of the explosion is at Westminster. People within that radius won't even feel anything because the nerve impulse transmission speed is slower. Within 5 kilometers of the epicenter, the blast radius. City of London, Camden Town, Kensington, Brixton. These areas will receive the most destruction. Buildings will be destroyed and debris will fill the streets, creating extremely dangerous conditions for everyone in the vicinity. Given the population density in central London, the initial death toll could exceed 250,000 people and around 600,000 injured. Within a radius of 10 kilometers, the radiation will cause third-degree burns. Within that radius, anything that can burn will catch fire. Gas stations, automobiles, power substations, gas infrastructure. Explosive facilities will explode and amplify the effect of the devastation over a huge area, including areas from Camden to Greenwich and Islington to Wandsworth. According to various estimates, a further 450,000 people will die from burns, debris injuries, or radiation sickness, and over 1 million will be traumatized. Many of these injuries could prove fatal over the next days and weeks. Radiation sickness in particular will take lives days and weeks later. In time, about 100,000 more will be added to the death toll. Within an 18-kilometer radius of the blast, the shock wave will be enough to shatter windows, causing additional casualties to people who come to the windows when they see the nuclear blast. The shock wave will reach Hounslow, Edgware, and Enfield. Depending on the wind, the fallout could spread well beyond the immediate blast zone, potentially affecting areas up to 5 to 10 kilometers away, causing damage even in regions such as Essex or Surrey. The estimated casualties in the event of a 750-kiloton nuclear bomb exploding in London would be about 850,000 people dead and about 2 million injured. If the explosion were to occur on the ground rather than in the air, the fallout map would be greatly expanded, and the radioactive fallout could even reach Manchester, infecting people, land, and animals. The problem with a nuclear explosion in London is also that London is essentially not designed to survive such a disaster. 11 of London's 20 major hospitals would be within the blast. The remaining hospitals would be physically unable to cope with the number of victims. Many people are still alive under the rubble of the buildings, suffering burns, but no one will be able to help them, since the creation of...
But no one will be able to help them. Now, that's some surreal stuff, and a shout-outs to Crown Jewels, Daz, Lord McCormick, all my cats across the pond in the UK. But just think about these things here. No one's coming to help in this situation. Think about the layout. Think about what he just said. The city's not designed for this. Most of the hospitals are in the downtown or in those areas. That's not good. You realistically would like to have a big medical center, a nice one, or many on the outskirts of downtown areas or areas that, away from downtown, the interior of the city. That's what's going to get struck. So this complicates things. Whatever few city hospitals that are outside the perimeter. Oh, all right. Well, this looks like, as I look down, and it's 11:09. I got a couple more things I'm going to cover here, and we're going to shut this down here. When it comes to our border, I think that we should implement something like Italy's doing. Under the successful conservative leadership there, Italy has cracked down on human smugglers. It makes deals with the neighboring countries, and it has cut its illegal immigration by 64%. It's huge. 64%. It's huge. So there's a difference when you actually step up to defend your country and stop letting the invaders in, what can happen. And they may be one of the few over there in Europe that's going to be able to save their country and get it back on track, because they're actually saying, hey, no, we don't care what none of you say. We're stopping everything. No one's coming across this border. And we're checking all of you. And definitely if you're a rapist, a murderer, and all that, you're definitely not getting in here. Unlike the United States, where they're given a pass to come right on in. It's insane. But it's night and day, the difference here. When you actually step up and try to do something about it, they're going to preserve their country. United States might not be nothing in another 10 years. Italy will be, because they're not letting the enemy come up in it. You've got to defend your border. Any country. And that's the truth. And that's just one of my major takeaways here. And know this. The UN just voted and passed the Pact for the Future. This is pushing their total totalitarian agenda for threatening sovereignty and coming after everybody with digital controls. And the only way to do that is have CBDCs implemented in place in all the countries. So for that to happen, there has to be a series of events that forces this. We've talked about it here in the United States. What's it going to take for the dollar to be converted to a CBDC, especially under a Trump or someone that's in there that's against the CBDC, so to speak? Well, regardless if Trump's in there, what they've already done is they've got these wallets in every bank that will match your currency with the digital currency. It's already in place. So when he gets in there, this stuff's already in place. All they need is a crisis. Just like the crisis that hit when he was in there last time. Telling you, this crisis will usher in everything, because you won't be able to get no money out of the banks, 401ks tanking, all that. I'm telling you, when this goes down, their answer is going to be a CBDC. Call it, you trying to call it Trump bucks. I don't even know. That in your face. And they may even, because they're going to turn around and, like they've already tried to do, and they're going to say it's not a CBDC. It's its own ledger. And it doesn't matter. It's all tracked digitally. It's the same crap. They think they're slick like that, and I think they think they're going to get away with pulling a fast one on everyone. And they just tested the waters. You want to know why? Because Trump and them just dropped this whole huge crypto thing, world coin, world liberty coin, something world. It is a world crypto. He just launched. Trump himself, his family, scam, whatever. So I'm telling you, they're coming down all avenues with this digital stuff. I'm telling you, he's pushing it because they're trying to get all the Trumpers that don't know any better. I'm telling you. They're like, no, we're not leaving that on the table. We're taking that. We're getting that and that and that. It's how they operate. Yes, and I'll leave you with my final thoughts here tonight on P. Diddy, because I had in the title some more dirt on Diddy. If you don't know, it seems that a bunch of the devils are shaking in their boots. Usher has wiped his X accounts, completely removing all of the video, all the posts that he ever had on there. And remember what I was telling you about on the show the other night, that all these people have incriminating evidence out there all over the place. It's not just their social media. This is old video clips, shows they've been on, interviews. Like I said with Ashton Kutcher, interview he did with someone else that's out there. where he's saying all these things. He can't just go and take it down because it's not just his social media to take it down. It's because it's all over the place. That's the crazy part about this. But what they can take down, they're trying to take down. And this is nuts because you can tell they're getting scared. Usher releases a statement trying to say, oh, his account got hacked. No one's buying it. Because at the same time, Pink did the same thing. You go over and look at her account, she wiped it and just kept a couple up there supporting Kamala and against Trump. That's it, pinned. All the rest wiped. Megan Fox, same way. Got this list of all these people that went through, and I guarantee you it continues tonight. As these people talk, I guarantee you this starts to happen. And who knows, they could make up some thing out of it, like, you know what? Let's just say it's something against Elon and make it like it's a cool thing to do. Everyone just start erasing everything on X. Really, it's just them covering their tails. I said it before, everyone should go to these people's pages and screenshot. You got some spare time tonight? You want to get some gold? Go to Justin Bieber's account. Go to Oprah's account. Go to any of these people that haven't deleted their stuff and just start taking screenshots. Catch these people talking about Diddy in full scale. Did they take down all Diddy's accounts? I don't think they did. The dirt you're going to find there is going to be unreal. I'm telling you, go to all these people. He's kissing on, hugging on, all these people's social medias. It's all there. All these people, the LeBron James, all of them, that ain't nothing like a Diddy party to say, get them all. I'd go get every single one of them that he names in his own video. He names them off. I don't know if it's his hit list or his blackmail list or what. J-Lo, all of them. Go get them. Get them. They got something. I guarantee you someone got some archived from years ago. Then I've forgotten everything else, man. It's all coming back to haunt them. All right, so I want to thank all you guys for joining me for another one. I am going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, to the best of my ability. At the moment, I want to thank everyone that joins me for the streams. And thank you, Joyce, for the PayPal. I want to thank everyone that hit the super chats tonight. Anybody that became a member of the underground, welcome. Shout outs to all the pure bloods, as always. I want to thank anyone that bought a coffee tonight. Anyone that shared a stream. I appreciate it. I'll probably look to stay going live here on YouTube exclusively for right now. Much love to all my mods. Thank you, J-Tig. Salutes back, Cuddy Ross, Jay, everybody out there. Much love to all my cats, all you. God bless. Thank you, Gabe. Maybe one day in the offing, we can get together. I'm trying to hold out hope that by spring, we can make it through this election, make it through this winter with no issues. By spring, I look to try to have some kind of get together with the people somehow, some way. So one step at a time, right? Thank you, Handy. Thank all of you. Much love, Wayne, Joseph, Herman, Miss Brady's Ghost, Judgment War out there, Colin, yes, Colin Verbo, reached out to me. I'm sorry I've been so busy, man. I didn't even have a chance to respond, but I seen you, my brother, and I seen prayers your way. I feel for people like him. He was, I believe, pulled over. And he's facing an issue where he had his firearm on him legitimately, and they tried to say he was concealing it and trying to hit him with some bogus charges. He needs some prayers and some help. Fighting that. The beast always out to get righteous people out there. You got to just be cautious where you're traveling. Where I live, it's a constitutional carry state, and you can carry however. It wasn't always like that, but now they've taken the move to do it. But if you go traveling and you go through Illinois and you get pulled over, that's what's going to happen. They're going to be like, you've got this and that, and you're going to be like, well, I've got, you're going to be like, no, we don't have reciprocity with none of these states. They're commie in Illinois when it comes to that. That's why we used to always drive around the state, believe it or not, and avoid it when traveling. Because I ain't trying to go anywhere that ain't trying to respect my right to defend myself in my life. It's a trap waiting to happen. Anyhow, I send prayers after my brother, for real. And I hope I get to see some of you guys out here again. Let's put it that way. I will. Let's put it that way, and we'll speak it into existence. All right, guys, going to shut it down. I'll look to be back here in a couple days. And if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for Underground World News Live. Much love. God bless. Thank you, Eon. Always coming through, Eon. Much love. God bless. Thank you. love you all.